Hey, Tim Holstad, singer-songwriter. Thanks for stopping. So, today's thought is just going to be about persistence ultimately, but there are a couple of neat developments that I wanted to share about that are steps to move the journey forward. So, I've been talking about the Zoom salon and how I want to do this the first Monday of every month at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I expanded my Zoom plan so that I could record it, I could save it, I could do it for an hour or longer if I had to, get the recap, send the replay, everything. So all the preparations were made, and it did go off Monday. It did happen. It worked. I mean, granted, nobody came, but uh, I went ahead and recorded everything and saved the replay and successfully sent it out. So I've gotten some feedback from that, which has been positive, which is good. But the main thing that is going to be my recurring theme today is it didn't work out the best way. It didn't work out perfectly. But the step was taken. That's the thing. The step was taken. So, yeah, it was kind of discouraging. Nobody showed up. But that's going to happen a lot of times in music, right? Anybody who's played for any length of time is going to tell you about the gig that they had when nobody was there, or maybe just had one or two that were there and they're not really paying attention and it's just kind of a dud. But it's what you do, and so you do it anyway. And again, that's kind of the recurring theme. Take the step, keep going. Because, as I've said before, you may be disappointed if you fail, but you're doomed if you don't try. What can you salvage from the situation if it isn't working the way it's supposed to? What can you learn from it? What can you do differently? Think about Thomas Edison and the light bulb, and how the story goes that he failed 10,000 times before he got it to work. He's working on the second floor laboratory in his Menlo Park compound, and he's working with this thing and it doesn't work, so he writes down what he's learned, what he thinks he's learned, and tosses it out the window. And eventually this pile of light bulbs gets to where it's even with his second floor window, and he's still tossing out light bulbs. 10,000 light bulbs, that's going to take a lot of space, but eventually he finally got it to work because he kept going. It wasn't style points. Certainly wasn't style points. Everything didn't work out all wonderful, rosy, happy, and everything. There were a lot of times where it didn't work for him, but he kept going. And I believe this quote is his, where it says that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So that's kind of the recurring theme today. I could talk about, too, that yes, it's finally happened. I'm finally back to recording the third album. This computer that I'm talking into is where I would generally record everything into, right? And I then would have a docking station if I didn't have enough sockets in the computer for the hard drives that I had to save to. Whether it was an audio hard drive for my albums, an external hard drive, it was really important, had to have it so you didn't have these hiccups and data loss and everything else. And so the same thing obviously with video that has sound attached to it, had to do the same thing there. And I really wanted to not lose everything again like I did with that first album. I had a setup that worked, and then I got malware on the computer that was where it all started from, and they had to upgrade the operating system, and I lost everything because the hard drive that I was saving to also went bad. So I had to rebuild the whole album. You may know that, you may not. Now you do. So I wanted to back up everything, and it caused a lot of changes here. So now I've got everything. There is a backup system that is in the kitchen that's locked in, and it's a wireless backup, and everything saves there. And this is a tech friend of mine. Hey Max, thanks. Who put this all together, and so it's saving there, and it's also saving in the cloud, so that I will never lose anything again. It's really a professional strength, professional grade backup, which, if it's your life's work, you gotta have this. You really should. So now I've got it. I've got that in place properly, but it caused a problem with recording. Where do I record? It's like before I had my solid state hard drive that I would go to and I knew it would work. Now that's all changed. And I'm having problems again with Studio One saving stuff to where I didn't tell it to save it to. Have no idea what's going on. Had another huddle with Max, and got everything to where, all right, now I know, that it's going to Studio One, that is, when I say it's going to record where I want it to, so that I don't lose something, or you get that dreaded lost files. If you work with Studio One at all, you know what I'm talking about. You get that list of lost files because Studio One can't find them anymore, and you've got to point it to where the things are so that you get rid of that, and you haven't lost anything, and you can pick up where you left off. Had to be some reconfiguring and some discussion to where it's back and it's working now. So everything is going where it's supposed to go, so nothing's getting lost, and I'm recording again. So I got the next song session set up, got my click track rendered for the metronome, so that's there, and I recorded a scratch track for this song, and I was back recording today and starting to lay tracks, trying to. I couldn't get a take. That happens. But again, I'm going back to my theme. It's about persistence. It's really important, and for me, I need to doubly remind myself about this. I'm still around to do this. There was a time when life was really bad, and health was really bad, and it went on for quite some time, and I'm struggling, really, really struggling to just make ends meet. You ration food if you have to sometimes, just so you got a place you can, a roof over your head, you've got something you can wear, you've got a little something to eat anyway, and you just keep going. So I look at days like this one has been. I worked at it for a while. I could not get a take. It just wasn't one of those days where it worked. But just to be able to do it, just to be able to make the attempt in itself, I've come to see that as a victory, because I won't trouble you with all the details, but there are times it could have gone the other way, where I wouldn't have been around to make the attempt. And honestly, it's important to be grateful that we can still go for it. We're not going to win every game we play. Not everything's going to work out. But just to have been able to make the attempt. If you want to wax poetic and philosophical, there's a quote out there that says, 'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And granted, it's painful. It hurts. The times that it doesn't work, the times that something breaks when it's not supposed to, it's all painful. It's really difficult. Maybe it's embarrassing. We don't want to think about it. It hurts when we remember it. But so much in life comes down to 3 words: make the attempt. Football is a big thing in the USA, where I am living, where I've lived all my life. American football, the championship game, the Super Bowl, is a big thing. And that's the pinnacle, that's everything. And unfortunately, in every game, somebody has to lose. And the people that lose in this game, it's just crushing. It's so difficult. And sometimes there are players and coaches that are good enough to get back there again and again and again and lose again and again and again. And it's really tough. It's really hard to watch. You feel for them. And for a lot of us, this is a lot of aspects of our life. We wanted to find somebody special. We wanted to get our magnum opus out there. We wanted to just be happy. We wanted things to work out where we had something where we mattered. And somebody cared about us and cared about what we came up with. And there are a lot of times where our efforts to bring something like that to pass don't work. It doesn't happen. And I look at some of the recent developments, the 2 I mentioned. The Zoom salon, it finally happened. Granted, nobody came, but it finally happened. I'm finally back to recording that 3rd album. I mean, granted, I still couldn't get a take, but it finally happened. I'm back to it. And I think that's what I want to leave you with today. It's about persistence. That's the bottom line. Make the attempt. You've got to. It's your only chance. And I know that it hurts. I know that life is painful, okay? It's hard when it seems like nobody cares. And you're all alone at this point. You're struggling, and you don't think you can talk to anybody about it. You don't think you can call anybody. Because, let's face it, you're at a point where the only cure is the solution. And that's why this message is here today, because your only chance to get there is to keep working at it. I mean, I don't want to tell you how old I am at this point. I've been working at this music thing, the songs that I've given my life to write, to try and get them out there. I've been working most of my life to do this. And does anybody else care about it like I will? Of course not. They don't live with it 24/7. They're not doing the blood, sweat, and tears to make it happen. They'll see the end result, maybe. Maybe some people will see a little bit more of the process. But usually, as a creator, you're working alone a lot of times. And this is your cross to bear. And the only way that you're going to get it to where it's some kind of a breakthrough and something comes back to you as a result of it is to keep going, to make the attempt. And so you might say, well, gee, Tim, That's pretty cool. 2 more moral victories. How'd that work for you? Well, it beats being dead. Or maybe worse yet, it beats being a dead man walking. Because I gave up on my purpose. I quit. I would urge you not to do that, because I've learned enough in my experience that yes, it will cost you to go after a dream. It will cost you to go after that thing that's in you, that everybody's saying, no, you can't do that. You can't make a living at that. Come to your senses. Give it up. I get that. I've been there, I've lived it. I understand it's going to cost you a horrible amount, perhaps, to go for that dream. But I have learned from experience, it will cost you so much more if you don't. Make the attempt. Keep going. So you don't have the style points. So you didn't get there, oh, yeah, look at me. I did it. It all worked perfect. To heck with that. The race, ultimately, is not to the swift, but it's to the persistent. So, I will leave the free song plus story link in the description. It's another way we can connect. If you're interested in finding out more about this Zoom salon, or wanting to hear more about some of the other things that are out there, whether it's the website, it's the YouTube channel, the social media posting, it's starting to add up. But again, it was all about persistence. This guy is not a tech guy. I was traumatized by it badly after everything that happened with losing the first album and the years it took to rebuild another working system. But again, it's about persistence. Make the attempt. If you get there, are you going to care about the style points then? If you finally make it, are you going to care about the style points then? I can't tell you, because that hasn't happened for me yet, but I do know this much. It certainly won't happen if I don't keep going. So, whatever that thing is for you, maybe nobody else understands it, but it matters to you because it's the core of who you are. You can't give up on that. You've got to keep going with that. Make the attempt. And I'm sending energy for you because I'm in the same boat and I can relate and I can empathize. You're not alone. Just keep going. Take care. We'll talk in the next one.